Hello, this is Markability with Paracontrarian, where our mission is to ensure that dissident voices are not silenced. This means that content creators need to have a way to publish their content, ways to drive traffic to their content, and methods for monetization. Paracontrarian will explore potential paths to each of these necessary ingredients over time, making recommendations and mapping out the systems, technologies, infrastructure, and communities that can help. Today, we're exploring one decentralized method that can be used to publish that can't easily be censored. I'm going to show you how I set up a computer with a pirate stick that easily publishes content to the Interplanetary File System, which many will simply call IPFS. On the website, piratestick.info, you will find all kinds of information about the effort that Thomas Friedman pursued called Pirate Box and Pirate Stick. A lot of this is about being able to publish to the Interplanetary File System, or IPFS, but both of these systems have other capabilities. I'm going to focus only on IPFS for this video and the associated write-up. However, it's worth noting that a Pirate Box is actually a Raspberry Pi with the software that Thomas Friedman has created running on it. What it does is it makes it easy to publish content to IPFS. It has some other communications capabilities such as text messaging and such. But one problem that Thomas ran into was that the availability of Raspberry Pis is not very good, and the ones you can find tend to be rather expensive. So he's opened things up to using what he calls a pirate stick. The idea of using a pirate stick instead of a pirate box is that you'll be able to install an image onto a solid-state drive and plug that into a computer of your choice. Because a Linux distribution with a high level of compatibility, namely MX Linux, is being used, you can run this on just about any computer. The results are that you have an appliance that can easily publish to IPFS, and because you're dealing with hardware that is going to be much more capable than a Raspberry Pi, beyond the IPFS capabilities, there are also capabilities that will make this system a very robust communication system, and we will cover that at another day. But today I'm just going to focus on how to get the image, how to install it, and how to make your own IPFS appliance work using the pirate stick. In order to support Thomas Friedman's efforts, I recommend you go to the store page and actually purchase one of these SSDs directly from him to help support the cause and promote further development. Personally, I will actually be going to the Pirate Booty page in order to get some swag in order to help support. In order to create your own pirate stick, go to the page which has the images and first look at the gateway domains. You will want to pick one that has green check marks all the way across and is preferably in your country. Here they're listed by the ping times so that you will find the server that's closest to you. Now, going back to this page, scroll down and find the IPFS link that has been provided. You will need to copy this link, and you will need to tack that on to the name of the gateway that you're going to use, as I'm doing here. And when you do that, it will start a download process. I'm not going to show the download process because I've already done that before. So let's go take a look at what I've got. So here I've got the ISO I've downloaded. I actually tacked ISO onto the end of it so that the maker would recognize it. Now, I had to go download live USB maker. The latest version, 21.11, didn't work, so I had to use this 21.7, and I saved that to a place where I keep app images. Now, you can't just run it. You have to actually open it up in the terminal and run it from the command line. Once I did that, this live USB maker came up, and I could now select my drive. In this case, you'll note that I'm actually selecting a 30 gig drive. This flash drive is not the 1 terabyte drive I used. This is because I didn't capture the actual original load to the 1 terabyte. This is me redoing it in order to capture video and show you how to do it. Next, I was able to select my ISO and burn it to the drive. Now that I have successfully burned my Pirate Stick, I'm able to put it into the equipment I'm using for this. It's a Lenovo ThinkCenter and a 1 terabyte SSD, in this case made by Crucial. And once I plugged it in and started it up, I had to go ahead and hit F12 in order to get the boot menu. From there, you need to pick the UEFI option from the menu, and it'll start up. And from here, you pick the default. During the startup process, one of the questions you will be asked is about setting up persistence. I did do this on my 1 terabyte setup, but in this demo, I am just showing you where I just selected 0 to quit this, but you will want to set up persistence because you want your device to remember what you've done to change it, remember all of your files and so on and so forth. So you really do need persistence in your actual setup. So once the Pirate box has actually started up, you'll get a little welcome page off to the right there. It gives some useful information. And when you pull up a command prompt and start trying to type in commands, you're going to run into issues like this one. And what I had to do was I actually had to first make certain that we got the IPFS user into the sudo group, and that's what this command here does. And once that's done, the next thing you really need to do is set up your password. So you want to change the password for root as well as for the IPFS user, which is the default you will get when you start up. After that, you'll find that things still don't work quite right. So what you need to do is log out and log back in order for the permissions to take effect. Now if I go to the command prompt and type in that command again, you'll see a window pops up. Everything is working perfectly now. Next, I use some standard Linux commands in order to update the system. Now we're looking at the actual Pirate Stick setup that I'm using the 1 terabyte drive, and you'll see that I've changed the appearance of everything. Now that it's up and running, I can go ahead and go into the IPFS control panel, and from here I can pull up status, and it takes it a while to spool up and start showing the graphs. One other thing I did with this was set up a Samba share so that I could drop off content into a shared folder. And beyond that, I've also set up a screen sharing utility, Ramina. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but what it does, it allows me to remote control the node from another computer. And I'm mostly going to show you things from that computer screen now. I've dropped off some files, and from there I can import them into my IPFS node. And what I'm doing right now is publishing them. Here they've been published. And so the next step is to see, can I access these from the outside world? So what you can do is go in and click on the 3 dots to the right. You can copy the share link. Now, since I'm on the same machine, I'm actually remote controlling. I can paste this into the browser on the machine I'm using, my main machine, and try it out. Now, what I found out was that I was getting these gateway timeouts. So I need to take a close look at what the cause was here. I found a tool that was very useful, and it's called IPFS check. Using the IPFS test, I was able to see that I had some errors. Although the multi-address could be seen, I had issues with connecting to multi-address, could not find it in the distributed hash table, and you couldn't really see the content ID. So I had to go and take a look at my routers, which runs OpenWRT, and I had to go in and change port forwarding. I had to open up external port 4001, and I had to route it to the Pirate Stick. Now, initially that didn't fix things. I had to go back in and also make certain that this internal port at the bottom of that page was also included. Then I was able to get things to connect, although I was still having issues with showing up on the distributed hash table. But I was able to paste that link into the browser on my computer, and I was watching video over IPFS, so I was successful. The next thing I found out was when I checked IPFS check the next day, I could see that the distributed hash table had caught up and could now see my content. So I was successfully publishing to IPFS.